All right, let's get right into this. On the shores of South Sulawesi in Indonesia, a group of people called the Konjo are building some of the most beautiful wooden ships you will ever see. They're called Phinisi. And honestly, they're built using a kind of engineering that's so ancient, so intuitive, it almost feels impossible in our modern world. So today, we're going to go inside this incredible craft.
I want you to just picture this for a second. You're walking along a beach in a village named Baru. But instead of little sandcastles, you see these absolutely colossal wooden skeletons rising up from the sand. These are Phinisi being born. Ships that can weigh up to 350 tons, all built right there, on the beach, totally by hand.
And that brings us to the big question, right? The central mystery of this whole thing. How do they do it? How in the world do you build a ship this huge with perfect balance and symmetry, without a single blueprint, no computer models, not even the metal nails we totally take for granted?
Well, the first part of the answer isn't technical at all. In fact, it's spiritual. For the Konjo builders, a Phinisi isn't just an object they're manufacturing. To them, it is a living being, one that's conceived and born from the forest and the sea.
It all starts, as you might guess, in the forest. The builders aren't just looking for strong wood, they're searching for timber with a jiwa, a soul, a spirit. They pick these incredible native Indonesian hardwoods, like ironwood, which is so dense it actually sinks, and biti, which they love for its flexibility. But you know, what's just as important is when they harvest it. They look at the lunar phases, making sure to avoid what they call bad days. And before they even think about making a cut, they hold a ceremony to ask the spirit of the tree for permission, honoring its life before it becomes a new life as a ship.
Now this is where things get really fascinating. The whole construction process actually mirrors the human life cycle. The very first cut of the keel, that's the ship's conception, and they seek divine permission to do it. When they join the keel pieces together, it symbolizes the union of a man and a woman. And then there's this final crucial step called a mosi. They drill a hole into the keel that represents the ship's navel or posi. It's then consecrated with special mantras and chicken blood, and that's the moment the vessel is considered a complete being with its very own soul. So, okay, the ship has a soul, but how is it physically built with such unbelievable precision? This is where we get to the heart of the engineering mystery, an architecture built on pure intuition.
This chart just lays it out so clearly. It shows you just how fundamentally different their whole approach is. You see, modern shipbuilding starts with a skeleton, the frame, and then you add the skin on top. The Phinisi way, it's the exact opposite. They build the skin, the hull first, plank by plank, and then they fit the internal ribs inside for support. There are no blueprints, only these mental maps passed down for generations. And forget steel, it's all held together with wooden dowels called pasek. It's a complete reversal of modern logic. It's amazing.
And you can see it happening right here. On the left, you've got the builders just painstaking shaping the hull, one single plank at a time. And on the right, look at that joinery. Those are the wooden dowels that hold the entire thing together. The real genius here is that when this ship finally gets into the water, that dry wood soaks up the seawater and expands, locking these dowels and planks together so tightly it becomes this incredibly strong, yet flexible and completely watertight vessel. So who holds all this knowledge? Well, it all comes down to this one incredible figure, the Panrita Lopi, the master builder. This person is basically a living, breathing library of naval architecture. The entire design of the ship, every curve, every angle, it all exists only in their mind. They often just use their own body, the span of their arms or the length of their feet, as their main measuring tool. I love this quote because it just perfectly captures what this is all about. This isn't just knowledge you have in your head, it's embodied knowledge. It's this deep architectural language that's written, not on paper, but in the body, in the muscle, and in the spirit of the person building it. It's engineering that you can feel.
But the Panrita Lopi doesn't do this alone. Building a Phinisi is a deeply communal act, and you never see that more clearly than at the very end of the process, when that massive ship is finally ready to meet the sea. I mean, just stop and think about this for a second. The ship is done. It weighs hundreds of tons, and it's sitting on the sand. There are no cranes, no big machines, no dry docks. How on earth do you get that thing into the water?
You do it with people. The launching ceremony, the Anayorong Lopi, is just this huge party for the whole village. Hundreds of people show up, bringing ropes and giant logs, and working shoulder to shoulder, they slowly, carefully push and roll this massive hull into the ocean.
The whole thing is fueled by prayers and feasts, all driven by this shared belief that they're witnessing a kind of resurrection, the moment that the spirit born in the forest is finally reborn into the sea.
So, this is clearly an incredible tradition, but is it just a relic of the past? Not even close. The Phinisi has proven to be unbelievably adaptable, and its legacy is still sailing strong today.
This design has been evolving for centuries. It started out as a workhorse for the spice trade. Then, in the 19th century, it got that iconic two-masted rig we see today, which was probably influenced by European ships. In 2017, UNESCO rightfully recognized this craft as a true masterpiece of human heritage. And now, today, these same traditionally built hulls are being turned into luxury yachts for a whole new global market in sustainable tourism.
And here's something you'll almost always see, this number, 7. The Phinisi traditionally has 7 sails, and that's not random, it's deeply symbolic. For some, it represents the 7 great seas of the world that the famous boogie sailors used to cross. For others, it symbolizes the 7 layers of heaven in their local beliefs.
So, here's the bottom line. The Phinisi isn't just a beautiful boat. In a world where almost everything is mass-produced, it stands as this powerful symbol of sustainable, local craftsmanship and of a deep, respectful connection between people, nature, and the things we create.
And all of this kind of brings us to a final thought. The Phinisi builders prove that some of the most sophisticated engineering in the world doesn't require computers or algorithms. It can be carried in our memory, in our muscles, and our communities. And it leaves us with a question for our own time. In an age of AI and automation, what is the real value of the knowledge that we carry in our hands?